Ahoy hoy, how are you all going? Right, well, I'm back to it. I've been doing the big days. I reckon yesterday was maybe a 16-hour day to get everything back on track. When you take a bit of time off and you think that everything's under control, well, think again. So the work that I had basically sort of like doubled when I was away. I came back and really had to haul ass to get back to where we want to be. Things are very busy at the moment with work. As you guys know, we're in farming. We manufacture farm machinery. So the commodity prices are really high at the moment. Farmers want some gear. Of course, steel prices going up. Everything's going up, classic cars especially. So maybe things will dip down when the interest rates rise. I'm not sure, people do get scared. But anyway, so here I was working away at the laser cutter. The byproduct of that is I've been able to spend some time doing the bodywork on this nugget. So I think it's time to get this thing in Hifill. I'm thinking probably a reasonable amount of coats would do the trick with this thing, because while I've done the bodywork, the roof's still a little bit ripply, so we're going to see what it looks like after we get it all in one colour. After a while, you sort of lose track of where you've been and what you've done, sort of thing. So I think I've done a reasonable job, but once you get it into Hifill, it will be revealed. So we've got to move this to the main factory, put it in the booth, half-ass masking it up, put some primer on it, why not? It looks like a lot of filler, but I promise you I've just skimmed it. There's nothing that's that crazy. And you're seeing it in its undies. Most guys, they put it in primer and hide all the filler work, but just feast your eyes on what I've sort of done. So again, the car came from a Chuka. A shed had fallen on it, so it caved in the roof. I gave it a few love taps and tapped up the roof. We then gave it a Brad at Metalcraft, and my budget couldn't stretch that far, so he was only really able to spend a couple hours just tapping it up and bringing it back up again. So the roof is still a little bit wonky. I could spend a bit more time, but I'm really keen to get some primer on it. If it's really bad, I can go back and do it, but I can't just leave it sitting here in bare metal and continuing to scuff it up, every single time I want to work on it. Let's get it in primer. So again, he did the seal work. I gave it an attempt and I was no good, and I'm happy to admit that. It is what it is. So the roof's been tapped up. There's a few little bumps there. Again, like I've scuffed everything 400 grit, and I think that's sufficient to get it in Hifill. So again, I've scuffed up everything. There's a little bit here that I could go on with a bit more, but I'm pretty happy with the way it is. I just want to see what it's like. Again, the same thing, he did these seals here. I think he tapped up, the gutter just a little bit. And then I've got a reasonable amount of filler work over here. It's not that it was really caved in, it's that when the door, it sticks out, whoever had the car last drove into something really narrow, squished both sides in. So by default, it had a line running through there, and I can't actually reach that on the underside. It's too far down. So really, I am left with no choice but to fill it. There's no rust or anything, but I don't know, man, I want to get the job done. I want to actually drive the car in my lifetime. So, and what I also noticed over here, I think it was from factory, because it's on the other side as well. This part here is actually pushed in and it's sort of hidden by the bumper. I don't think you really see it, but I didn't like that. So I've tapped it and then I've filled it. So I want to see what that's like all in one color, being the gray. So, we'll go from there. Why don't we get a few of the boys and they can give me a hand to wheel it into the other factory. Woo. It's got no shocks, so it really bounces. It's just got the leaf springs. I probably need to get a hand, because I can't be bothered pushing it. If it starts to run away down the street, then I'll be in trouble. So, Jesus, turning circle sucks. I'm not gonna make it around. Waving through. Hey, the turning circle sucks in this. Dude, I was pretty surprised at the turning circle just there.
That was pretty awful.
Yeah. Because I've never driven the car before. I don't know exactly how good or bad it's going to be.
Like I said, I think it's a taste of things to come.
Well, we're going to have to do a couple point turn because maybe we don't need the go jacks right now. Like this way, then we'll reverse. Keep going. Yeah, stop. Yep. And back. Got it in the booth. Now we've got to find all the supplies and everything that we need to actually do the job. You guys know that we hire out the booth, so, and I'm not the tidiest person either, and well, it is what it is. So I've got to find all my bits and bobs and just double check that we've got everything required to do this small job. So you can see how much care I take with everything. You know, sometimes I just dump everything into a box and then go, oh, I'm going to sort it out later, but I never do anyway. So I need wax and grease, and that's empty, so that's a great start. I'm going to use my eye water. It's a 1.8mm tip, and it's pretty dirty, so we'll clean that before we get going with that. I want to use Hifill. I'm going to use the beer for this one. So my little stash is down here somewhere. So I want to use that one there. I think I'm going to use MS today, or maybe I can use not that one. Shit everywhere. Maybe I'll have some gloves. What else we got? More HS, but that feels empty. Anyway, let me get sorted and then check back with me. I've gotten changed. I've been starting to wear long pants because it's like really, really cold. But today I'm showing off my pins. So it's in the booth. It's reasonably clean-ish. But so let's chuck some wax and grease remover on it and wipe it down and get the paint ready. I reckon for the roof I might do 6 coats. I'm not sure about the actual body, but I want to have enough material when I do my final sand that I don't burn through. Because if you burn through to bare metal, then you have to re-prime that little area. It's boring, I don't want to do that. Get on my gloves. Of course, I've put this one in there and it leaks, so, you know. That's why I like the metal containers. I was thinking about siphoning it into the metal container, but yeah, so I'm just going to wax and grease remove. I did it last night, but I'll do it again now. And what I noticed is that when I'm sanding things get stuck in the gutters. So I've got flathead screwdriver, and you know, like I could see stuff come out already. You see all that sort of stuff. Like, it's how long do you spend doing it? Some people spend like a whole week, you know, really getting things clean, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot there, so we really need to attend to that. But I can get the air hose and give it a bit of a 1-2. Alright, so first things first, let's try to get all that stuff out, the dust, and then we'll wipe it down. There's no point wiping it down and then more dust flows on there. So I won't turn on the booth just yet, but I know the compressor's already on. So what I'll do is I'll connect the air hose to connection outside. Give me a tick. Now normally you blow out the dust like outside the booth, but I'm going to change the filters very, very soon. So I mean, to me it doesn't make much difference. Everybody's got a different way of doing things, so let's just blow this out. And you can see how much dust is coming out. I'm just trying to get in all the cracks. Blecky boy gave me a look of disapproval. There's actually a fair bit of dust. Woo. Another 10 minutes of doing that, maybe we'll be right.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Alright, so yeah, we've used the air hose to get all the dust off. Now we've got to wax and grease to remove it. It's just moving any of the debris. So this is a pretty big car, man. Like, I mean, imagine doing like a 64 Impala. Heaven forbid doing a Cadillac. I mean, this is about as big as I want to go. The plan is with this car is I want to lower the shit out of it. It's like a 4-wheel drive right now. So I've got my trusty step ladder there so I can actually reach the roof. And yeah, so there we go. So I'm just cleaning everything. So I've got a nice surface to paint. Try not to miss any spots sort of thing. But hey, I mean, it's only just a bit of primer. Like, it's not the end of the world really. If I need to reprime it, I need to reprime it. No one's going to get upset about that. It's the final stage that you don't want to stuff up, which is painting the damn thing. I mean, I'll probably clean the car free of any dust for a couple of days just to be sure. Because that's happened to me before. I've like, you know, sanded the inside of a bonnet and it gets stuck in the supports. And then what happens there is you think it's clean. As soon as you go to spray any amount of air, it suddenly some dust appears and then you get shit in your paint and then you get really upset. Or you just don't care like me. But, you know, when you go to all this effort, because doing a car, like doing a car up, is, it's a big job. You know, lots of people say they're going to do it and, you know, they've got plans on doing up a car one day, but when you actually get to it, the sanding feels like bloody never ending. And if you've got multiple cars like I know many of you guys do, you know, eventually you get sick of your pay going 5 ways for 5 different cars. Okay, so I'm happy with this area here. If you got a mate or somebody to help you to, you know, do all this sort of stuff and you trust them to actually do the job, you know, definitely get more people involved because then you'll actually be able to finish all your projects. If it's just you or just like me, it can just take a million years. Like I've had this car now for 5 years and I've been working on it on and off. Got to the stage where I got the shits with the rust repair that I had done. So I gave it to a professional, which is Brad at Metalcraft, great bloke. And that's what kicked it up a gear. Now I know that, you know, getting rust repair stuff is expensive and you don't want to open up the wallet, but it might be the difference between getting the job done and it just sitting out in the paddock. So by no means am I an expert at restoration or anything. I'm just a bloke that likes cars. You know, I've got a bit of equipment so I can actually do it, but you know, I couldn't do this as a normal job. I don't have it in me to do it, you know. I only ever work on my own stuff. I've never ever worked on anybody else's stuff except for odd jobs. And you know, that might be the way to go. You know, you just have to work on your own stuff and stop chopping out to mates. And if you want something done properly, then you just got to pay for it, you know. There's not that many tradespeople that are real magicians. If you can find one, hold on to them and give them as much work as you can before they up their rates, because everything's going up. Yeah, so the plans for this car is that there's actually a bit of a theme to it. I better keep working while I'm talking as well, otherwise I'll never get it done. So growing up, when I was younger, my dad's a musician and I'm also a muso as well, even though I don't play that much anymore. I play guitar and drums, and you might have seen in earlier videos, you know, at my place. But when I was younger, my dad's really into blues. So we've gone to the Queenscliff Music Festival. I think there was one at Thredbo. Used to go with him to gigs to see blues bands, namely Australian sort of stuff. And so one of his favourite bands is a band called Chain. And so they were popular in the 1970s. They, the lead singer Matt Taylor had that song, Remember When I Was Young. And there's a Chain that's got Black and Blue, Boogie, there's a few other ones. Probably my favourite song is Blow in D, if anybody knows that. Anyway, so when I was picking out the colour's blue, It's called Lollipop Blue Pearl. And so the actual theme of this car is from the song Black and Blue. The lyrics, you know, talk about working hard and sort of like, you know, not having much to show for it, or, you know, really, you know, going all out on something, and, you know, you're a working man and you're working class and you just want to make a living and you want to get by it. So that's how I feel with, you know, this sort of car, is that, like, you know, I want to build it and I want it to have a bit of a story. So the interior is going to be black, at least I think it is, and the outside of the car is going to be blue, so black and blue, and that's where it sort of comes from. And I think that more people should actually have a bit of a theme to their car, because then it makes it a little bit easier to sort of research inspiration for it, or if you're having a lull in motivation, then you can sort of go back and listen to a song that might make you inspired to work on your car. And I think it really pays dividends. So all this time, for many years, I've been thinking about it, and that's what I want to do, you know. Make fun of it, doesn't bother me, but yeah, that's just the way I feel. So growing up with those kind of songs, I didn't appreciate it then, but recently I bought Chain's album on vinyl, and I've been jamming it while I cook dinner or whatever. And when I jam that record, I'm thinking about the car, and I'm thinking, okay, well, you know, what else do I need to do to finish it off? Am I actually going to finish it? Am I going to do what I said I'm going to do? But at least I'm giving it some sort of brain thought or brain activity. Otherwise, sometimes, you know, if it's cold, you don't feel like going out to the shed. You just don't, and then your project just sits there for years. And then your mates might rib you, you know, oh, you know, when are you going to get around to doing that? The answer is never. I hope you guys don't mind having a bit of a chat while I'm doing all this sort of work, and it's pretty boring sort of stuff, but I'm just thinking about it. I've got somebody hiring a booth later today, so I've got to make sure. Right now it's 11 o'clock, so I think they're coming at 2 o'clock. So basically, yeah, what I want to do is quickly get this in primer. But what I was thinking about was not even masking it up. Now I know that sounds pretty crazy, but I was honestly just thinking about getting some cardboard and holding the cardboard here and spraying there and there. And if a little bit gets in there, I mean, like, I'm going to put carpet down. I might even rust proof it again, because it was such a long time since I did that. And just to clean it up again, maybe I'll just do that, so it just sort of saves a bit of time. The only problem is that if I do it over here, it's sort of going to blow some shit in there, but it's only primer, it's only Hifill, it's going to get sanded again, so I mean, you take the good with the bad. I don't know. What would you guys do? You're probably screaming at the screen. Tell me to do something different. Yeah, so I pointed out the turning circle just a little while ago when we were going down the road, and it's actually got a HT front end. It's a very popular mod, but I was really surprised at the turning circle. I was like, holy shit, am I going to make it around the corner? So yeah, I'm not really sure. Have a look at the tie rod ends and just see whether they can be adjusted, or maybe there's something going on. But basically the plans for the engine is I've got a 283 Chev, and I actually got that built as a short block. I haven't put a can in it, but I was sort of like thinking to myself, maybe I wasted my money. I should just put a 350 Chev, just a crate motor or something. But the reason why I got a 283 is because I was watching other YouTube videos of hot rods with a 471 blower on it, like a supercharger. I thought, man, this would be sweet, a 283 with a little supercharger. I got a quote from Fisher Superchargers a couple of years ago. I think he wanted $7 grand or something to do the setup. I think that's without the carbies. Now it's probably like 12 grand, but anyway. So I don't know whether I made a mistake with my engine choice. A lot of guys sort of fall into that trap. They sort of start building something and then they want to go a different direction. I've just got to maintain what I wanted originally, which was a supercharged 283, and see it through, because if I keep changing my mind, that's when it's going to cost me money. So, but if you guys have any ideas as to, you know, what engine choice, anything but an LS. I'm not putting an LS in there, I'm sorry guys, you know. And I'm not putting like a Ford engine in there either. basically I want to have a bit of power. I want it to be reasonably quiet. Maybe we can have the exhaust where you can change the volume on it or whatever. And yeah, because I want to actually like have my family in there, you know. Now you guys know that I've got a baby girl. Things are going very well, by the way. She's actually sleeping during the night. My wife is going well. You know, everything's all happy at home. But today I've got to go home at normal time. There's no staying back till like 9 o'clock tonight. It's just not possible and not fair anyway. So, all right, I'll do the roof, and then I think we're about ready to spray it up. I think I'm just going to use the cardboard method. See how it goes. All right, I've grabbed the camera, and now you can sort of see it in the lights there. You can see that it's like still dinted and everything. They're not really bad, but you can definitely see it now in the booth lights. I mean, that's what I'm going to try cover with 6 coats. You know, maybe it'll work, maybe not. I mean, unfortunately, a shed had fallen on the car during a storm, so hey, if it wasn't for me, this car probably never would have got restored. It'd still be sitting around. Instead, it's in a spray booth now, and it's going to get a lick of primer. Anyway, we'll give it a go. So if you're like me and forget, it's always good to look at the data sheet to work out the ratios in which you need to mix the paint. I think it's either 3 to 1 or 4 to 1. So all you do is you find the right one, and then have a look. Okay, so mixing ratio, 3 to 1 surfacer, MS hardener, max 20% uni thinner. Now I don't have any more De Beers stuff left, so what better way than to mix and match different suppliers' stuff? That's a surefire way of success. So I'll just use some universal thinner over here. All right, time to start spraying.
My brow is wet and my throat's a choke. You sent me here for 10 long years. I miss my whiskey and I miss my beer. Ain't seen a gal since I don't know when. And the way you treat me won't see one again. You broke my head 'cause I spat on a guy. Should've made me know better, it just made me high. Your water stinks 'cause it comes from above. And that slop you feed us ain't fit for a dog. Well, you can feed me and try to break me, and still I'll spit at you. You'll never break my spirit, even when my body's black and blue. Well, in my arm there's a dreadful pain. It's hard digging ditches with a ball and chain. You sent me here for 10 long years. I miss my whiskey and I miss my beer. You broke my head 'cause I spat on a guy.
that was hard because I was gonna get the head mount, but I don't know where it is. So I was just holding it in one hand, and you could actually see me getting frustrated there because the airline kept getting trapped underneath the tire. Normally when you're spraying, you hold the airline in the other hand, but I was holding the camera instead. So I've got to really focus now. I've just given you guys a little taste. I love it when primer goes on. It's so shiny, and some of the parts I can see I need a bit more work. Other parts I go, oh, that looks awesome. It's gonna look great once I sand for the final time and sand the Hifill, put some color on. So having your workpiece or your car in one color is awesome. It feels so good to get things sort of, you know, it feels like you're moving the ball ahead with your project. So I want to focus, I want my other hand free. So how about next time we talk a bit about sanding and getting everything nice and straight. I want to get some color on this bad boy. Thanks for checking out our video. It's great to be back with you guys. Take it easy.
Make me high.